Aloha! I'm Athena. This is Adam. Welcome to Mass Movie Review.
Welcome to Mass Movie Reviews.
Where we wear a face mask and review movies and or TV shows. Today is a and or TV show, and or video game, and or book, and or what, comic series?
I don't think there's comics, no.
Oh, just books.
Yeah, it's classy. Guys, classy. Comic books aren't classy.
Classy books, not
Classy books. The Witcher.
The Witcher! Yay!
I was first introduced to The Witcher by PlayStation. Thank you very much. CD Projekt Red.
That is how I know The Witcher. I've seen him play that game.
I played Witcher 3 all the way through the complete edition on PlayStation 4. And it was super fun. It was really hard. It was kind of Dark Souls-esque. And I had a really good time. It was a good story. And then I forgot about it forever. And then I read the first set of short stories because I got into it. And I read, let me see here, I got it brought up.
He brought it up. He's got
I brought up the first short stories. Anyways, well, I read the first short story book, and then I read the second short story book, and I kind of just put it away and got into some other stuff for a while, and I forgot about it. And then Netflix a while ago said, we're going to be doing the Witcher series. And from what I understand, they worked with the writer of the books. Who did not work with CD Projekt Red, and there was some weird internet drama about that, et cetera, et cetera.
So, right? Season 1, The Witcher, 2019, right?
Well, you have to get a little bit more background than that. So, The Witcher is written by a name I cannot pronounce very well.
I don't know any of the background.
This is his name. Andrzej. 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 Sapkowski. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong. If I am, I apologize. The books I read were great. The short stories were super fun. I didn't get into the novels yet, but I think I might just pick them up after.
As we were watching season 1, he was like, "Oh my god, this is just like the book. It's so good."
Yeah.
It's really good. I really like this series. Season 1 is what, eight episodes? Nope. Which is disappointing because I like seasons with more episodes, but they are 45 minutes. So
yeah, they're pretty long, and Netflix does that quite often. They'll produce an entire series, put it out, and then a year later they'll produce the next series. They'll see how successful the series was, and if it did well, they'll move on. If they won't touch it again. I definitely, I enjoy The Witcher. It was super fun. I like fantasy and magic. This is set in the 13th century of Poland. So whatever is going on in the 13th century Poland is absolutely going on here. Like, it is. But they changed
the names of,
countries and stuff it's like a magical land set in the parameters of 13th century Poland. So there's war, there's famine, it's really fucking rapey, it's evil, it's deathy, life is hard, women are not valued, if you have the flu, they're going to bleed you to get the demons out. Like, it's crazy, right? Like, 13th century was not a pleasant time in human history. That should tell everyone, by the way, what happens when you let theology take over your world. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go to the dark side.
So, Geralt of what?
Of Riviera, which is a giant... Yeah.
He's the guy. He's the Witcher. And a Witcher is... how did they do this?
The Witcher is a mutation of a human being.
Mutation, thank you.
He is mutated through magic. He's kind of cat-like, but he's mutated through magic so that he can fight monsters. Because in 13th century Poland, all of the superstitions and the legends and the mythologies and the monsters and everything is brought to reality in the Witcher series. So
there are some cool monsters.
And a lot of what he does is go from town to town, and he gets paid to kill someone's problems, basically. Like, there's a monster in the woods killing my cattle, and he goes and kills that monster. Or me and my sister, the king and queen, had sex and had a baby, and then my sister died, and then a wolf walked over her dead grave at midnight, and her baby turned into a strega. And that strega is eating all the townspeople because it's hungry.
But only their hearts and...
Right, so like weird curses, he solves curses, he kills monsters.
He solves curses.
The one episode
He's tied to destiny.
He is tied to destiny. I'm most impressed.
It's interesting. It's really interesting. And the way it starts out too, like, they kind of go back and forth, past and present, as the series goes on.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, wait, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And then when it all comes together, you're like, oh,
two
okay.
very separate timelines
It's really
happening.
good.
It's like an introduction to The Witcher through the short stories in the very first book. And those short stories are, I mean, I've read them all, and there was a couple of them I was like, wow, I remember this with the Golden Dragon. This is insane how accurate it is, right? So this short story introduction to Geralt, timeline, and the timeline of what's happening when he meets Ciri are slowly intersecting until the last episode, which is kind of exciting because you know if they do a second season, it'll be about what's going on with her, which will be, I believe, The Witcher 2 in the video game series and like book 4, from what I understand. I don't really.
Witcher season 2. I'm excited for that. I really like this series. I don't know a lot about the history of The Witcher. I mean, I saw him play the game a couple of times, but I don't know a lot. He knew a lot more. He was like, oh, it's called this, like the stray gun. I'm like,
yeah,
it's
the
called
monsters.
What? How do you say that?
I know what the monsters are, the ones that he fought in the game,
There's
ones
a lot
that
of cool
wrote the
monsters.
book. The story about the dragon was the most impressive. It was so accurate to the short story that I read, like I felt like I was there. Like there was even some parts in other episodes where they would like walk through a doorway, and I would be like, "Whoa!" I remember them describing that doorway
like they described
and described it in the book. Like I could just feel that. So as far as like accurately bringing something over to film, wow, pretty good.
It's really good.
It was really fun.
And there's the mages that go to like court with the king and queens of the different kingdoms, and they're basically like witches, sorcerers.
Wizards, that's a whole separate timeline too. So there's 3 timelines. She's
they're all over the
Yennefer's,
she's talking about how decades she's lived.
She's
but it's
ancient, and so it's 3 timelines converging into one. It's the magic timeline converging into one,
and then the other
it's Ciri, what's happening
Ciri
today,
and
Ciri, and then Geralt's timeline, the introduction to who he is. So it's all 3 timelines colliding.
And he knows who Ciri is, but he's not going to tell me because he doesn't want to spoil it.
I am not. I do know who she is.
I don't know who she is. She obviously has some crazy magic powers. You get to see her do a few things, but she's very confused by it. She has no idea what
she's more powerful than Rey in Star Wars.
Oh, that's scary.
And she's not good. She's bad.
No, don't. You're spoiling it.
I'm not spoiling it.
You are the worst at spoilers. Seriously, Siri, don't tell me. We asked Siri on her phone who plays Siri, and Siri on the phone got very confused.
She actually yelled at me.
She did.
Siri yelled at me.
She was like, here's what I found. Take a look.
I gave her an existential crisis, and I asked her existential questions about herself, and she gave me some answers, and then was like, take a look at that. And it was like, whoa. Or was it, check it out.
Check it out.
Sound like the Emperor.
Check it out.
Like
it was very Palpatine-esque.
Yeah.
But Siri, Princess Cerealia of, what's it called?
I don't remember. I'm not that deep. I'm not.
All the different names of the kingdoms I'm very confused about.
We've familiarized
ourselves with it. It's really, really good.
It.
I really, really like this TV show. I'm super excited to see season 2, and I'm sad it's probably going to take a year before they give it to me.
Season 1 was great. I really enjoyed it.
So out of 5 stars, I would give it 4. I really like it.
Wow, I would give it 5 because I kind of have a little tiny bit of investment with the short stories that I read, and it was so close to the short stories. Well, not so much as nostalgia. I read those last year. I played the game like 2 years. Was it 2 years ago I played the game?
I think it was longer than that.
Longer than that? A couple of years ago? Maybe 3 years ago? Yeah. So yeah, after about 3 years ago, I read the stories and I remembered the scenes and even the details in the door when they walk through and the golden dragon.
All the I like magic stuff.
I do too. I was really
it's sort of, we were talking earlier, it's sort of Game of Thrones and like Lord of the Rings kind of, magical, interesting kingdom, but there's all these wars going on.
A lot more raw than Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones is kind of polished naughtiness. It is.
There is some naughtiness.
It's polished naughtiness. This is raw. Oh, it's lots of naked people. Good looking naked people too. So that gets a star.
That gets a star. I still force
Yennefer?
It's good. I really, really like it, but it's not like I want to watch it all over again right now.
No, I don't want to watch it.
That's what's required for 5 stars.
I will say, from the Game of Thrones to the Witcher aspect, Witcher is dirtier and more life real. Like, it's a little bit more like... No, it's a little bit more like human suffering real of 13th century. Like, imagine being alive in the 13th century.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
I definitely would not like that. No. Nope. But the magic's cool. I like magic. And the Witcher's all a little bit of magic and then all this badass stuff.
Yeah, he takes potions.
Takes on like 20 guards and kills them all like 2 minutes flat.
He has all these special potions that you have to give him in the game, and then he drinks in the books.
Oh, and then he can hunt a specific monster better.
But he has to prepare the potion and collect the stuff. So we're not seeing behind the scenes thing. In the game, you had to go out and collect the stuff and prepare the potion, and it was really fun. CD Projekt Red does a great job of stuff. Netflix did a great job on the Witcher television series. I really like it. I'm going to give it 5 stars. And I'm also going to say that the actor who plays Geralt, I don't know his name. He's the guy that played Superman.
Oh, the newest Superman.
The newest Superman, which was fucking horrible.
That was bad.
DC, just stop. Just stop. God, DC, just
so disappointing,
just
DC. Some of your shit I actually watch on Netflix, and it's
come on, man.
It's only in the background.
Give it up. Just give it up, princess. Give it up.
Be,
DC. Fuck you, man. Just stop.
No, we don't like
stop making movies. You're not doing a good job at it.
All right.
You're not.
So Witcher, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Let's do some face masks. Here we go.
I'm doing matcha again.
You
You want your face mask? Oh. Yeah. Oh, you're using this.
Because he had to. This is his better side apparently, so we had to switch seats.
It is my very film.
So he's got matcha yet again.
Stunningly.
I went back to this guy. I think he's starting to dry out. It was really hard to squeeze it out of the bottle. Look, like there's no air going back into the bottle. So avocado and oatmeal, Nourish facial mask from Walgreens Special. I like this one. Has a less of that like dry, super sucky thing that you hate, and more of like the polishing.
I don't like that one very much. I'm back to the matcha because I like the matcha. I like how it makes me feel. I do. It de-ages me. Matcha's good for you. I'm trying to get it in all aspects.
Are you going to Benjamin Button all the way back?
I am not going to Benjamin Button. Pardon me. Excuse me. Boy, I certainly belch a lot in these. It's because I'm drinking the hell. It's alcohol.
It's alcohol.
The alcohol.
It's only one drink split 2 ways, but I swear that's a lot for us.
Anyways.
All right. Check out The Witcher. Super awesome. Really like it.
Yes.
Love it.
5 out of 5. 4 out of 5. So that equals 5 out of 5.
No.
It does.
That equals no.
It's 13th century scientific math. I mean, seriously, you think of the 13th century, if you had a fever, they would bleed you, like we talked about, right? And then you'd bleed out the demons, right? Or whatever. But that's the science involved. So if we're going to use the science of the 13th century, you're 4 out of 5 and my 5 out of 5 because I'm a man and you're a woman.
9 out of 10.
And unfortunately, in the 13th century, they didn't value women. 5 out of 5. So 5 out of 5. I value women, but I'm just saying, 13th century rules when we're talking
y'all
about 13th
bitches
century.
in the whole universe wouldn't exist if it weren't for women.
This is absolutely true. Man, I would have not wanted to be alive back then. I can't even.
Unless I was a super powerful witch.
We are the luckiest,
even then.
Luckiest generation in history. That's Gen X's. Fuck you, millennials.
Gen X be like, drink.
All right.
All right. Cheers. Check out The Witcher.
Cheers.
Give us a thumbs up and subscribe and all that fun shit.
Subscribe. Are you recording? Because when I record videos, I record them with my whatever coffee cup.
Is that your stylistic entry?
This is my stylistic entry. This is my coffee cup that I got for Christmas. It says, "Doesn't matter." It's my buddy Brandon. He gave us this coffee cup for Christmas. It's him. It's a picture of him and the ocean in the background. And some very, I don't know, gothically produced phrases. I don't know.
Well, that was exciting.